Announcement of the decision. Referee Mark Goddard stopped the bout at 4 minutes and 24 seconds of the first round. The winner by TKO, Luke Burnett!
Luke Burnett, can you put into words what that win means to you?
3-0. 3-0 in the UFC, 8-0. That's what it means to me. 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, I can't think of enough.
The atmosphere out here was incredible. When the crowd started shouting Barnett, Barnett, I saw you physically grow. How key was it?
Let's go big. So the crowd was so loud. Honestly, when I walked out, that's probably the loudest room I've ever been in my life. It was insane. So it really, really helped.
You obviously showed some great stand-up there. When you and I have done some filming together, I saw some of your moves. Is it always good to get your game plan out in the octagon?
100%. That was my game plan. You know, beginning I started off a little bit slow, then I opened up and you saw what happened. So game plan went perfectly. I feel very, very proud of me and my team, the Tsunami Gym in Cambridge. You know, another win to take home.
Did Nielsen offer a bit more than you thought he would initially in that stand-up?
No, not at all. I knew he was going to come game. I didn't know he was going to stand for as long, but I think he grabbed me and he felt, I can't take this guy down. I'm going to try my luck again. Maybe days in, get him down. Because when I grabbed him around the heads, I felt powerful. I felt in control.
How big a win is this for your career? Where is Luke Burnett going next?
Wherever he wants. I'm 3-0. I'm undefeated. I'm ready for anything.
You heard it here first.
Congratulations, Luke Barnett. Now Gareth is off octagon side to bring us some fighter interviews as they happen, and sit back, relax and enjoy the main card action.
I see a tough opponent. I see the number 2 light heavyweight in the world.
One shot is all it takes. That is all power from Jimmy Mantle.
He's undefeated and that makes him very dangerous. He's hungry, he wants what I have. He wants my place in the rankings. He's right to take me seriously. I think he's taking me seriously. It'd be stupid not to. I know what to expect. He has knockout power, very explosive. I'll be ready, no matter what the situation is in the fight. I'm very flexible, I'm very adaptable. We're not getting too close and everything, so we're keeping our distance a bit. We're not friends, but we're in the same division. We're both Europeans.
We can do one hit to hit if that's possible.
That's too close, man. I know it will be a lot of Swedish fans. I don't know how many, but it will be packed. There's no way the Swedish fans are going to be drowning out anything. So, yeah, London's got to stand up for this one. It's going to be explosive from round 1 to its finish. He's a big obstacle and I can't look past him. So whatever comes after I beat him comes. All my focus is going to be on my opponent, Team Manuel. I'll finish him in a second. I'm not used to losing, I'm used to winning. And that's what will be happening on March the 8th.
Welcome back to the O2 Arena in London. We're about to start the main card for the UFC Fight Night London, and I'm joined by journalists Ben Blackmore and Ross Pearson. Lightweight UK star is still here alongside me tonight. So Ben, you know, great to be here with us. What an exciting night.
I've just been down on the floor there, and it is intense down there already, and the main card hasn't even kicked off. The Gustafsson-Manuwa fight is going to light this place up.
It is indeed. What do you think, Ross?
Wow, this place is going to go crazy. I can't wait for the main event.
Okay, well, let's look at the main card and have a look at those fights that we're looking forward to here. Ben, if you'd like to talk us through.
Well, I mean, you've got the Gustafsson-Manuwa fight, which really, I mean, both guys are looking to try and press their claims for a title shot. Michael Johnson and Melvin Gillard have got a bit of bad blood between them and are absolute bangers at lightweight. Brad Pickett and Neil Seery. Pickett's looking to make his own claims a run of flyweight title. And then Gunnar Nelson and Omari Akhmedov. That's going to be a wild fight.
I think it will. Well, let's look at the tail of the tape for that first event on the main card, and that's Gunnar Nelson and Omari Akhmedov, the Icelander against the Russian.
Well, you're looking at Nelson and Akhmedov there, and they're completely different fighters. Nelson is a really classy ground master. And then you've got Akhmedov there, who is just, he will come in and he will really try and bring this to Nelson, because Nelson's rusty.
Well, let's get ourselves straight out there to the action and over to our commentators.
Two much heralded up-and-comers looking forward to making the move from prospect to contender in a wide-open welterweight division are Russia's Omari Akhmedov and Iceland's Gunnar Nelson. A 2013 newcomer to the octagon, Akhmedov made an immediate and devastating impact at 170 pounds with a fight of the night knockout of Thiago Perpetu. Meanwhile, Poker Face Nelson has been just as impressive in his two UFC outings. First, submitting DeMarquez Johnson before decisioning George Santiago. The stage is set for a potentially explosive encounter. Coming up next, Omari Akhmedov squares off against Gunnar Nelson.
So Omari Akhmedov's life would be more like a shepherd's if he was not a fighter. But fighting is all he knows. In Dagestan, everyone is built tough. Every second man can wrestle. There are lots of gyms and all are full of high-level guys. But a connection was set up by Rustam Habilov and Andrei Orlovsky's manager, which led to Dagestani fighters like Habib Nurmagomedov and Akhmedov spending fight camps at Jackson Winklejohn's in Albuquerque. And what a great place to start, Dan.
Yeah, it is. There's a wealth of talent there. I know that my wrestling coach Ricky Lundell spends a lot of time there as well. So there's a lot of good guys to get his hands on and to help him out along his way. And you know, when you fight in the UFC, it helps you when you're surrounded by such high level of opposition and training partners.
They add a lot to the strategy of a fight camp as well.
They do. You know, and it's always good to get different opinions. Now, I always enjoyed, you know, going back to my team when I got an opponent and I could pick all their brains and see what they thought of it. And everyone sees the fight slightly different.
Well, he's a two-time Russian pankration champion. He's a Wushu Sandu champion. He's a two-time Russian hand-to-hand combat champion. This guy's got a lot of credentials, and he's going to need them tonight against a phenom of grappling, if you like, and mixed martial arts fighter in Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah, no doubt. They're very, very different fighters. Omari likes to really kind of turn it into a brawl, so he can create scrambles and catch people in the flurries. He recovers very quickly. We saw in his octagon debut that he got clipped a couple of times and turned that around to win. He's a very, very tough guy. He's got huge punching power, especially when he's moving backwards, which is what we saw in his last outing.
1-0 for the UFC. Here is Omari Akhmedov. Big reception here for Gunnar Nelson, a professional since 2007, returns to competition after his longest layoff, but he wanted to stay away and fully repair his body for this moment. Internationally, he is regarded as one of the top young UFC prospects, and for good reason, an absolute phenom in the grappling arts. He was also a national karate team represented. I'm very excited to see what he brings tonight, Dan.
Yeah. He's got a very Machida-like style. He's very quick on his feet, very traditional karate style, likes his counter punches, but can cover ground very, very quickly. But there's no secret, he likes to fight on the ground. He has tremendous ground control, and people just seem to fall into traps that he lays out for them. And the scary thing about this guy is you look him in the eyes, he is stone cold.
He drew his first MMA fight, then won 10 straight, 9 in the first round. He really demonstrates the Viking spirit, Dan, and that's why he's so popular amongst the fans around the world.
Yeah, and as we can see on the notes on screen as well, he is undefeated in 11, and that always makes him quite popular with fans as well. This guy's an exciting fighter. I had the pleasure of sharing a card with him in Nottingham almost 2 years ago now, and that was a fantastic performance over a tough DeMarquez Johnson. So I'm expecting big things from this fight tonight.
A chance meeting led to him being the student of Renzo Gracie, with whom he has a black belt. It's great to see him here at the O2. Let's see if he'll be putting those skills to test tonight. Our tale of the tape is brought to you by EA Sports UFC, coming spring 2014. And it's Omari Akhmedov, who is slightly older, an inch taller, and stretches to a 1-inch reach advantage. Now with the official announcements, here's Andy Friedlander.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the UFC and we are back in London. Now for 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first the fighter in the blue corner. This man has a mixed martial arts pedigree and a professional record of 13 wins and 1 loss. He stands 6 feet tall, weighed in at 170 pounds, fighting out of Makakala in Russia, Omari Akhmedov. Introducing next, the fighter in the red corner. This man is a grappling ace. A professional record of 11 wins, no losses and 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 11 tall and weighed in at 170 pounds, fighting out of Reykjavik in Iceland, Gunnar Nelson. Where the action begins, the referee in the octagon, Grant Waterman.
Grant Waterman is the referee. The lovely Christie adding some glamour to proceedings. We are all set for 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division.
Guys. You ready? You ready? Let's fight.
The fight clock is brought to you by EA Sports. UFC coming spring 2014. As we see Gunnar Nelson sporting the black wrestling trunks and Omari Akhmedov in the white with red. I'm interested karate style to open things up then.
I'm interested to see what Omari does with this, because I can't imagine he's faced this a great deal before.
Must be a pretty difficult guy to come up against, someone who's so very well versed in the ground arts but brings such a definitive karate style as well.
Yeah, and so unorthodox as well. Like, you know, he's switching stance, which is a huge benefit in this sport if you can have a vary of attacks.
But as we can see, Akhmedov has power in both hands. He is a much more aggressive fighter, if you like, and he's going to really jump on his opportunities.
Yeah, I'm surprised how he's taking his time in this first minute of the first round. He's obviously got a lot of respect for Gunnar.
Can be slightly wild, but with that unpredictable, that could play into the hands of Gunnar Nelson, however, who does like and tend to counter-strike.
Yeah, Gunnar's doing really well at using fakes to keep his opponent on his toes. He's making Akhmedov very nervous because he just doesn't know what's coming. And this could be quite exhausting, particularly if you swing and a miss like that. Straight transition to knee on belly, beautiful against the fence to mount. Wow.
That was super quick, Dan, into that mount position.
Although there we go, Akhmedov straight out of mount. Oh, and wow, I'm back in again, wow.
Damage done early to Akhmedov. It was that straight left from Gunnar Nelson as he finds some room to start opening up.
Yeah, we can see a mark on Akhmedov's face. It looked like that was from the straight right that Nelson threw.
7 submission wins out of 11 for Gunnar Nelson.
And his last fight was the first one that went to the distance as well, against a very tough George Santiago. That's worth noting, because most of the time he's the guy that finishes.
Look how tight that mount is down there. No bucking at all from Akhmedov. He's going to shift in.
Yeah, make a good bull rider with a mount like that.
Something to look to when he finishes his career as a martial artist, I guess. Huge elbows there from Nelson. Just in front of his corner, the SBG.
Beautiful ground control, very heavy, slowing his opponent down, just chipping away. Those elbows are going to start adding up after a while.
Really favouring those elbow attacks in this first round.
And the danger is in this position for Akhmedov is if he creates a scramble, he could leave something open and Gunnar could jump on an arm or a neck. And we've seen him do it before.
Well, Nelson's been out for a little while, but he is straight back into action. Blown out the cobwebs very early on.
Yeah, no waiting around for this. Beautiful elbows. Really short, really choppy.
very well measured as well.
He's very concise. He's a the consummate technician, but he's very concise with everything he does. There's no wasted movement, and I think that's partly to his karate background. You know, they don't throw several combinations. There's that single strike that can put you on your back, like we saw from the left hand earlier.
Even his posture seems strong, Dan.
It does. It just looks immovable right now.
90 seconds left in this opening round.
It's a huge round. Omari's got to watch that arm that he's bringing across the centre line.
Well, this is just the thing. I mean, he's obviously always looking for submission opportunities, but he's having some very good success with the elbows.
Here we go. He's isolating that arm. He's isolating that arm. Now, expect Gunnar to start chopping with some hammer fists and go for that arm. We may see that later on in the fight, because he looks like he's setting it up right now. Oh, wow. Beautiful elbow.
45 seconds left as Gunnar Nelson starts to pick up the pace a little bit.
There were some huge elbows. That's money in the bank for the later rounds for Gunnar.
I like the way he took wrist control and just turned the elbow over and found a home just under the eye of Omari Akhmedov. Last 30 seconds.
This is where he's dangerous. There's the guillotine attempt. That's very tight.
Omari Akhmedov is tight. It is all over in the very first round. A victory for Gunnar Nelson of Iceland.
A tough welcome to the UFC for Omari Akhmedov right there. A hell of an opponent to step into for your debut, though. For your second fight in the UFC. That was a fantastic performance from Gunnar. No messing around.
Were there any moments in that display, Dan, that you can even cast some criticism on Gunnar Nelson?
Well, there's not really much you can say about it, to be honest. He was very patient when the fight started. He was looking to set that straight left up, and you know, and when he landed it cleanly, it did the job.
Absolute faultless. But let's take a look at some of that handiwork.
So there's this straight left coming. Pop, right, oh, beautiful. That's what did the damage. Straight down to the ground, and pretty much the rest of the fight was done there. He kept top control, he wore him down and softened him up with some big shots. Big shots. I was expecting to see a second round out of this one, but that just shows you how quickly Gunnar can snag a neck. Very, very tight. Didn't even see the tap from her. There it is, around the leg. Beautiful. Fantastic submission.
A fantastic submission and performance indeed from Gunnar Nelson. Now for the official announcements, let's send it back to the octagon and Andy Friedlander.
Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the official announcement of the decision. Referee Grant Waterman stopped the bout at a time of 4 minutes and 36 seconds of the first round. The winner by guillotine choke, Gunnar Nelson.
Gunnar Nelson victorious here at the O2. He's now with Dan.
I'm here with your winner, Gunnar Nelson. Tell me, you've had a lot of success in the British Isles, but this is a pretty big crowd, a pretty impressive win for you. How do you feel right now?
I feel lovely. I love to fight here in England. I love the crowd. Feels amazing.
Excellent, excellent. That was a beautiful submission. I was expecting the second round, but you suffered him up with some ground and pound. Was that your game plan there?
Well, like always, I don't really have a strict game plan. I just kind of take the fight where it goes and make the game plan as I go, you know?
I think we're going to take a look at that straight right that put him on the canvas. Beautifully timed there. Can you talk us through this?
Yeah, I guess I was moving around a little bit, getting the feel of his range and his punches, and then I just saw an opening and I went for it.
And here's the beautiful finish. Tighten up that guillotine there. Did you know you had it when it was sunk in?
Yeah, I was confident. Yeah.
Well, a fantastic performance, a beautiful submission in front of a British crowd right here in London. Thank you, Gunnar Nelson, everybody.
And there is SBG teammate Conor McGregor. He will certainly be joining in those celebrations later tonight. Good to see him with us here in London. So our first main...
Of course, he's been training with Conor McGregor. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it was a great fight. He came out calm. He came out looking as if he knew what he was going to do. The thing I liked about him in this fight was his movement and his feints, you know. He set up his takedown. He set up his timing of when he was going to get this fight to the floor. We all know about his ground game. We all know he's got really, really good jiu-jitsu, but it was how he got it there what was very impressive.
Okay, and Ben?
Well, I mean, if that's Gunnar Nelson when he's rusty, if that's Gunnar Nelson after a year out of the octagon, that's a seriously impressive performance. And he just makes things look so simple. When he's on top of Akhmedov there, it's just everything is so simple, so executed. You know, the head position, the way he transitions so smoothly. It was a fantastic performance.
It was, and you actually thought Omari Akhmedov would do it, you said to me.
I thought Omari was going to come out fast swinging and catch him with a little bit of ring rust, you know. I was worried that he just wasn't in competitive mind frame.
I've never seen Nelson that aggressive when he's on the ground. He's obviously always looking for a position to transition, but those elbows were nasty.
It was great control on the floor, heavy hips, ground and pound was lovely. He wasn't overreaching anything, he didn't upset his base, and he set the submission up beautifully. Omari actually gave him it, he put his neck in that position, and Gunnar's probably done that a million times in the gym.
Good stuff. Well, let's stay with us as we're going to have more analysis when we get back.
Let's do the illogical.